This is going to be one of the most important set of information which you will get for crypto market in the next 3 to 5 months. Right now, you are at the verge of a breakout or at a resistance. Now, you can argue that we may not get a break to the upside and come back to the downside. But look at the RSI. Look at the MACD. What does it suggest to you? This is the total market cap of crypto. Now, come here, look at just the altcoin market cap. It does show you that it showed a signal of a double bottom. Once here and then here. If you remember, we discussed about this over and over again while we were in this pattern. Now looking back, we went higher. We broke this trend line. We broke this level of resistance. Now we are making that as a support, which means you can bounce. And after that, what happens next? Right now, the crypto market itself is below $1 trillion. And this shows you the entire market is about to double soon. What does that actually mean for you and your portfolio and for the entire crypto market? This is going to be really interesting because there are assets which are popping like crazy. Now, did we know this is coming up? No, we didn't. But we had this thought process of it's about to double or triple in next short while. We had this saying this is going to be a massive opportunity because the RSI, the MACD, all of them actually showed a correlation with the price. And price was showing I'm breaking higher, right? That was a perfect opportunity. And this has just been like, a month and you're already watching 200%. If that was your target, it's already done. And then it went crazy. Now, that's something odd happening in the market, which we cannot understand, which is happening. But right now, if you're looking at Bitcoin, you do get the taste of what's happening. Then you look at the XRP and it's like, okay, it's not doing much in the last 2 days, but it's actually showing you the probability of what it's going to do, right? So if you are in the right time at the right place, most likely next 3 to 5 months is going to be really good for you. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. While looking at crypto, do understand sometimes the market can be depressing. Agreed, but right now, what it shows you on different time horizon is that there is something coming up. We don't know what it is. A lot of people suggest that it's going to be bad, but looking at this, it really do not look like that. Maybe I'm wrong. But if you are looking for that kind of motivation to keep up, this is my second channel. Recent video has just been uploaded today. This is a new channel. We don't have too much viewers. But if you take 3 minutes, just 3 to 4 minutes, right? That would be appreciable. And do let me know if you think there is a ton to improve and what that can be. Now, jumping back. Yes, there are assets which are showing you that they are getting volume. They are getting breakouts. They are actually starting to move. But one of the most important thing here will not be the short-term fluctuation. The most important thing for us will be the long-term view. Now, there are assets, a group or certain assets which actually we discussed here, giving you on the YouTube itself, showing you what can be the potential targets, what can be these assets doing in the recent past. But look at this. Just for the namesake, look at this as an asset here. Right now, what you're observing is an accumulation range, which is being broken to the upside, and the price right now is testing that. Now, if you remember what happened last year, before the price actually took off, you had something similar in the price action here, right? If you are taking this area to study further, and you're like, okay, I'm willing to take the time and learn. Now you're like, okay, fine, that was a real accumulation range, which then broke to the upside. And what happened afterwards? You got this level of consolidation before the price went nuts. Now, this is something really important. Yes, you actually got a ride of 5 to 7x, but you literally needed a patience of around 2-3 weeks without doing much. The price was not doing. Now, while we've been in this market for 3-4 years, 2-3 weeks is nothing, right? If you're an XRP holder from 2017, wow, that's nothing. But when you are here in the market, there can be a lot of noise, there can be a lot of volatility, which can actually tempt you, right? Different coins popping in different areas can actually get you to do something which you should not actually be doing. Now, at the same time, you also have an understanding or thought process to see here that the market is suggesting you that this now is a long-term bottom. Now, this is not just the single asset showing you that, right? So we literally need to see the next major target being here. And as soon as you break this one, understand this is going to be something better. Now, yes, you can always reduce the noise or get clean market information. You can go into these kind of charts, which kind of helps a lot. So Heikin-Ashi can be a format of chart which can be really helpful if you are thinking like, okay, I'm ready to learn and develop my portfolio into something which is huge. Now, you're looking at this, the momentum here shows you green till the way here. Now we get a little bit of consolidation, but what you have to look for that time frame is like it was just a week. So if you had even a little bit of patience, that wouldn't be any big thing for you. Now, going back, what happened before we took off like that? You had something which actually showed the market that it's consolidating, fine, but then what was the percent of the drop? So the market literally dropped 33%. Great. So the percentage of drop here is almost similar. Now, this is not just one asset, right? The entire market is showing you something similar, and a group of assets are following the highly correlated assets. That's why we are actually going through a ton of assets in the market, looking at what they are doing, whether they are breaking through a support or a resistance. If it's breaking through a resistance, that's an opportunity. And if it's the other side, that's a red flag. You need to be aware of that before you jump into all of these assets. So right now, what does XRP show you in the same thought process? You're not changing anything. You're just looking at this asset with respect to the trend line and the support. It have not changed a bit, right? So now the question is like, this is one of the large cap asset, and how does this impact the altcoin market as a whole? Now we know that XRP move slowly, and it's always the last to move. And that can be the hardest part here. When the market is going to bounce from here, a lot of us would actually think like, we are losing. But sometimes you need to understand short-term gains and long-term gains are different. And right now, when we are here, the price is dropping, the market has that negative sentiment. Look at the RSI. This is just the altcoins. Now we go to the Bitcoin and the altcoin, the total crypto market, and it does show you that right now we are standing at a support level and we are trying to bounce back from there. If we even get one more bounce, like what we're getting today, it's most likely going to show you a double bottom there and then a run to the upside. Now, why is that important? Last time you got that double bottom here, you went up parabolic. Now, you had a preparatory run, which also had a double bottom. So, focusing here on the market to understand whether this type of giant double bottom comes in or this type of small one, we get the same information. So you and me who are here in the market would be focusing on next couple of weeks here to see what the market is showing us. Because if it does show you that it's going to bounce with a double bottom, now that's actually a great thing to watch, because the market is about to break through a level of resistance here, and the trend line which we've been following all the way from 2021. That's important to note. This is 2021 November. So you got the entire 2022, and here we are in the 2023. So we just consolidated the entire year there. Now, if you get the breakout, the first thing to note is that the market is about to do 100% move. And that kind of aligns with the information we are getting here, right? We just talked that the market is about to double for altcoins, and the same with respect to the entire crypto space, which means the Bitcoin dominance is going to be staying somewhere close to 30 to 40 and most likely 38 to 40. And then Bitcoin slows down, altcoin takes off. That usually happens. Now, that's on a daily time horizon. You now remove all of this and you literally want to go on a macro to ask the question like, okay, on the recent past, yeah, you can actually take the trend line all the way from here, but just in the recent past, if I'm actually looking at this, am I being super over bullish? Because the market actually shows me there is something evolving on the other time horizon, which is like inside this market cycle. Fine, we started wave 1, we got the wave 2. Is wave 3 going to stop here? Close to say $5 trillion to $6 trillion, which means the market can only do a 5x. Got the point? Now, you take the same perspective and you literally want to go onto a weekly chart here for the altcoin market. Because this is actually important to keep in mind because we mostly look for the altcoins to pump, right? Now you come here, you're looking for the altcoin market. And if we bounce to the upside, what do we see? Close to $3.2 trillion. Now, remember, the breakout from this pattern give you another massive move, which is macro major move, 20x. Now, the realistic question we have to ask to ourselves, can we actually do that? Now, that take you all the way back here into dollar because the profits which you are noting is in dollar terms. So, if dollar is about to get devalued massively, then yeah, that actually makes sense. But right now what we are looking at is the macro things suggesting that, okay, dollar is slowing down right now. So for us in the short term horizon, next year or year and a half, dollar could be slow. It can actually come back down, fine, consolidate there. All of this can happen. But macro, the dollar just broke through this pattern. Now this is a macro pattern where the dollar broke to the upside, consolidated and bounced. So you're now starting to trend higher. So right now, if you're coming back into the market and say like, okay, the average fluctuation is going to be a 6x from here. And what we are looking at is like, okay, if the market is about to do a 6x in the short run, can I take benefit of that? Because some of these assets, they're going to do a 50x. Some may do only 3. So you literally have to choose the asset which you think is comfortable. And fundamentals, we know there is nothing else like XRP. Agreed, 100%. How things are evolving, all of those are positive. But what we have to understand is we don't have the clarity right now. So in your portfolio, when you have one asset, now you should have enough time for that. Whereas if you are thinking like, okay, I understand this, but at the same time, the macro also shows me that I'm breaking to the upside and I think this can eventually pop through this, giving you a 20x. Now, remember, we are talking about a 20x from $3 trillion, which is like $6 trillion just for the altcoin market, which means $120 trillion, which does not make sense for me in terms of the dollar value right now, or else dollar should drop crazy and like become something like the Venezuelan currency or something, which at that point, does not make much sense because even if you have that value, now, yeah, you would be among the few who made money, but on the other side, the world is kind of done, right? So that's going to be really bad to watch. And that won't be the most likely scenario, right? Now, this is on the pattern side of this. Before we get a confirmation of this, we will be able to look at different assets and distinguish between, what this pattern actually suggests us and what we are literally observing. We go into different assets like say VRA is one of that. If you are focusing on VRA, now this chart does not actually give proper clarity. What we can do here is go on to Veracity on coin market cap, go on to a 3-day or a weekly. I prefer 3-day and look at this one. Right now, here it actually suggests you this pattern, right? But we broke to the downside. Now, what we have to understand is the measured move to the downside here literally was like 90%. Now, if you observe that, we came down 90%. So that was your measured move before you bursted to the upside. Fine. Now, just to put that into perspective, just to retest, you are going to do another 6x the way you're looking at the market. Now, are you going to come back into this pattern? We don't know. But the way it shows is like, okay, I'm bouncing crazy. Literally, look at the RSI. It's actually like one of the assets which we add in the digest. And look at this, how things are evolving, how this is actually popping. And actually, the RSI does show you a lot of information. And when you combine that with the MACD, the price action, it helps you a lot to understand what's happening in the market. So now think about this. The pattern broke here to the downside and it did the measured move. So if you go back to that scenario saying, okay, I believe this pattern is about to break to the upside, now you are literally talking about the world going to the downside and you making money. But remember, even if you actually see a $1 trillion value in the entire crypto market, at that time, one coffee would be like, $1,000, whereas it's now, maybe $5 now. That's a sky high difference. And we literally don't want to actually observe that thing, right? Now, if you are suggesting like, okay, I'm not a pattern guy, I think you need to combine the trend, the pattern, the wave, and all together, then you're like, okay, this is a trend. We are actually trending higher. Each time you come back down and bounce, you actually go crazy. The market actually rides 20, 30x. Now it goes back to what we just talked. If you break higher, what are you going to do? You're going to do a crazy number, which is going to be literally a 20, 30, 40x, which actually puts big market cap, which is really hard for us to believe right now because we are at $1 trillion below that. Even at the top, we were like $3 trillion. So talking about $30 trillion for the crypto market or $60 trillion for the crypto market does not make sense. Now, should that happen in a year? No, most likely no, it's not going to be. Most likely it may take another 10 years. We really don't know. The trend can actually continue. The trend can exist, right? That's going to be something we all have to watch. But imagine even if that's going to take 10 years where the dollar drops, and crypto market goes up parabolically. Now, there are a lot of different versions of this which can actually happen in the market. But understand when you are looking for the macro, say for the entire altcoin market cap, when you take the market here, it kind of looks weird. If it's on a 3-day chart here, we'll have to actually bring that on a weekly, which we are going to do right now, and then look at this trend line. Now, this is a chart where you actually see a lot of volatility because of the API errors. So right now, what we are looking at is something like this, which is trending higher. And this is just for the altcoins, right? And we are saying, okay, the standard deviation here is actually crazy. If you put that parallel, you actually see like this. So if you want to be actually conservative, you'll say, okay, from this bounce, I think this is going to be a 60x. Whereas till the top, if it goes parabolic, that's a 300x. Now let's be conservative. Let's say, okay, we're going to do close to 60x. Historically speaking, we have actually done 300, 400x. But at that time, the market cap was so small. So let's be a little bit more conservative. Imagine at the initial phase of the market run, you actually did a 60x. So even if you say this is wave 1 for the crypto market, this is wave 2 for the crypto market, this is going to be wave 3. Yeah, now that kind of matches up, right? Even in that conservative approach, that kind of matches up. But this does not actually fit into the wave 1 structure unless you get all the impulses and the corrective actions for the wave structure, which we literally don't have right now. So imagine this happens. Now that comes inside what we just talked. This is a pattern which we are observing. Agreed, 100%. There is no doubt in that. We are having this pattern. And if we break this pattern to the upside, now you see huge momentum. Now, come back to the market and look at different assets. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of this asset, but the market seems to like it one way or the other. Now, what are going, like the major consequences of the new SEC regulation is going to be what we don't know because of the staking issue. Right now, there is no clarity. It just says, okay, the ETH gate is still working and they have clarity, they can actually operate. But the way we are looking in the market for this one, it also is in the same pattern. So you literally don't see like, 25, 30,000 ETH. What you're looking for would be close to 8,000 at the max, right? with this movement. Now, if you break higher, that doesn't make sense. It would be like, a sky high value. Agreed. Now, you can literally go on to a lot of different assets inside this market where you think like, okay, things are changing. I believe this group of asset is about to do well because the narrative is actually shifting. Say, for example, if you are looking at Anchor, which would be one of the asset which should be favored right now with what SEC has done, right? You look for the liquid staking pools, and this is one of the asset which the market thinks is good. Now, this is your support. Now, if you are a pattern guy, you would say like, okay, that was a 14x measured move after the price showed you a inverse head and shoulder. And what happened in the price after the break here is that you came close to that. Wow, absolutely. That's actually really great. Now you come back to retest that level, which means most likely scenario here is going to be a continuation pattern, and falling wedge usually is a bullish continuation pattern. Now you're breaking that to the upside. Now what we want to see coming up here is volume. We are observing similar volume to this level and increasing, which means this asset can also do wonders. We don't know for sure. Assets can actually be good or bad, but you have to do your side of the research to understand what the fundamentals are. But the way technical suggests you, it's about support, and right now the narrative in the crypto market kind of supports that. You're breaking through this level and you have upside. Great. Now what's your major level of support resistance? It's going to be somewhere here. Now ask this question, if that terminology is coming true, the market narrative is shifting, they have a 5x to do. With that, you reach a macro resistance. So while we are here for next 3, 5, 6 months, we are literally going to observe a lot of assets pumping. Now, at that time, whether we are going to break through this or not, we'll have to sit and reevaluate when we are reaching there, how the market is reacting. Is the momentum reducing, or is the price action getting weaker? We will observe all those. And in the meantime, if you are looking for these kind of information to get on to those assets which are bursting in the market, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So that's it for today, guys. I'll meet you on the next video. Bye for now.